remember my name.
And you didn't want to make sure you tell the audience this is for pajama day?
Well,
just like
we could. This is how we dress.
This is just kind of how we dress.
How we dress every day.
You'll never know.
All right.
Things happen.
All right.
I'm Shannon Dunn. I'm a teacher here at Tsawout High School, and I'm from North Saanich.
My name is Aiden Mickelson. I'm 17 years old. I'm a student at Tsawout High School, and I'm from Victoria, BC.
Je m'appelle Ella, je viens de France, j'ai 16 ans et je suis à Tsawout High School.
My name is John Harris. I'm from Tsawout First Nation. I'm Coast Salish and Dene on my father's side, and German, Irish, Canadian on my mother's side. I am an Aboriginal educational assistant at Tsawout High School.
My name is Conchita Sparvey. I'm 17 years old. I go to Tsawout High School and I'm from Victoria, British Columbia.
I'm Ashley McNeil-Glosson. I'm 16. I live in Victoria, BC, and I go to Tsawout High School.
I'm Wilfredo Harris. I'm 16 years old. I go to Tsawout High School, and I'm from Victoria, BC.
Meu nome é Regina, eu tenho 17 anos, eu vou para Tsawout High School e eu sou do Brasil.
My name is Aaron Planario, I'm 16 years old. I attend at Tsawout High School.
My name's Damian Modesto. I'm from Cowichan Tribes and I'm currently going to school at Tsawout High School.
I'm Simon Sam, I'm Songese and I'm from Victoria, BC and I go to Tsawout High School.
Hello, my name is Elmer George. Sanimton is my given name from Songese, one of the elders of Songese Reserve. The Sanimton, the name Sanimton came from Bakuchin Kolbe, my grand-uncle, given to me by my aunt and my late sister.
So, educators now recognize that students are embracing technology, whether we like it or not, and it's a way to engage a lot of learners, help them to use their interests, because a lot of students, they're on their phones, they're playing video games, they're, in a lot of cases, they know the technology better than their teachers do.
Back home, it's different to me because I'm close to everyone. I'm close to my parents. I'm close to my friends. So if I want to talk to them, I have another resource that's not my phone. Here, I can't be without my phone because I want to talk. I'm always worried that something's going to happen back home, and I'm not going to have my phone, and I'm not going to be able to talk to my friends or my parents. And I want to be there for them as well as I want them to be there for me. So it has a huge impact. I don't know if they took away our phones like today, we wouldn't be able to like live without it. We are already addicted to it.
I think if we were kind of raised on it, I don't really know if we would really know of any difference. So I think if we were raised on it, there wouldn't have been a difference. If it just got taken away from us one day, it would be hard. It'd be hard, yeah, that's for sure. I don't know if people have the same like communication skills as they used to.
I think it's crazy how different is like France and here. I think guys in Canada are really addicted to video games.
My life would be extremely different because I spend a lot of my free time playing video games and just lazing around at my house, because I spend a lot of my time, well, when I'm not playing video games and on the phone and just lazing around, I'm playing basketball, I'm out with my friends, going bike riding, going everywhere. It's like I travel, I know Victoria, BC like back of my hand because I've been around everywhere.
And I also think that we don't use our cell phone for the same thing. So yeah, it's really different. But I think it will be, I like being without my phone, but I know that I need my phone.
When I was younger, I didn't have an iPod or iPhone or all that. Me and my family and my brothers had like Nintendo 64, and if we didn't want to play that, we would go outside, play hide and seek and take. Like most of the time we were outside, especially my age, because my mom and my dad had a job and they were busy, so I was babysitted by my grandma, and most of the time I was outside because the only thing they had at their place was the beach, so I would go down there and play, go swimming, especially in the summer. Oh, it was fun.
If we didn't have technology or anything like that, it'd be definitely a lot different, but I feel like everyone would be more social to each other and accepting.
Today we got fast cars, we got cell phones, we don't visit anymore like they used to. We don't know our families, you know, that's part of our culture. We have to know who our people are, you know, but we're losing it a lot because of the cell phones, TVs, and computers, and all these things, you know, taking us away from our life, our culture.
Life without technology would be a great life because almost everybody has a cell phone or a laptop or something like that, but what people don't see is the beauty of this world, and they just need to like learn to go out more and explore new places to them, and they're gonna see the beauty of this world.
Our old people used to go and visit. Today we phone. We just phone. Old people. I remember our old people, some of them from Duncan, used to come down on the train, come up to our house, stay for a whole week visiting my mother or my father, related, then they'd go back home.
I really like the idea of having a final product that we could all watch together and celebrate, and regardless of if students were in front of the camera, they would have a part in the production of it.
Just learning, I think. Learning how to edit and how to piece together a little 1-minute film.
Yeah, learning all like the different like setups and stuff, like the lights and like the microphone, what it picks up and stuff, I guess.
Actually, I was really happy to come to class when I know you were here, because every time, like, I liked the work we did, because I could find myself, and that was what you asked us to do, and I could remember my past and see what happened, and so that was really nice.
For me, I really enjoyed looking back on my life and seeing how I came like to be here in this time, because I've come through a lot of struggle, and learning about camera equipment's always been something I've always wanted to do, so it's just a 2-in-1.
Honestly, a highlight I liked was going through my past and like reviewing some of the big things I've done in my life.
I enjoyed the editing we've done on the little slideshow.
One of the highlights to me was when we did that big poster and you told us to like list our favorite things, and it was really fun just to remember everything and all the things we've been through. It was amazing. I really liked it.
What I liked about this was how you taught us to set up the lights and cameras and how to use them.
I've always been interested in providing opportunity for students with different learning styles to be able to figure out what works for them and to be able to have a part. So we can see in a production like a documentary, there's opportunity for people to figure out what works for them. And so it's collaborative, it's interactive, it works with Aboriginal ways of learning, so it's holistic, reflective, and in so many different ways it engages students. Self-esteem to me is a sense of well-being, confidence, basically how one feels about themselves. And so my family, my friends, but even students, I feel extremely thankful that I'm working in a career that I love. I'm learning all the time. I'm very thankful. I feel it's a privilege to work with students at this age and see them progressing toward adulthood.
Self-esteem to me is the way you see yourself, the lens that you see the world.
Self-esteem means to me just feeling good about yourself, feeling proud of what you do and what you've accomplished in your life.
Self-esteem to me is when you succeed at something and feel proud about it because you worked hard and tried your best at it. And even if you don't succeed, you should be proud even if you do fail because you're giving it your all and you should keep doing that.
For me, self-esteem is to be confident with yourself.
Self-esteem means to me the way you feel, your emotions.
It's all of your accumulated knowledge and experience and wisdom growing up.
Self-esteem to me is feeling happy about yourself and being confident about everything that you're doing.
Self-esteem to me, I guess, is like, I don't know how I perform.
The skills and training that you were instilled with as a child and a student and grandchild.
Self-esteem to me is like a hidden power that almost everybody has inside them. And the people who contribute to the self-esteem is like your friends, your family, and your teachers and coaches and all that.
Self-esteem is just kind of like the confidence that you hold yourself to and yeah, just kind of how you hold yourself.
For me, I mean, I guess it starts with my parents. Big supporters, always very heavily involved in our lives, always contributing to our extracurricular sports, taking us halfway across the country to soccer and baseball tournaments.
And I think people who contributed to that is a lot of the staff here at Tsawout High School have definitely contributed. A lot of my family members have contributed, and a lot of friends have contributed.
For me, my parents and my friends and also my teachers have a huge part in that, because every time that I feel like I'm doing something good or like doing good things to another person, it makes me feel really good about myself.
I have to say a lot of people have contributed to it. Family members, friends, teachers, other students.
Being part of a team, I think, is really important for young people. Being active, obviously, as well, but just having that sense of camaraderie, of team building, of togetherness, working towards a goal, I think is a big self-esteem builder.
Sports have like a very big, they play a very, very big part in kind of how I am during the day. Like if I have a very good game, then like for the rest of the week I'm pretty happy and bubbly. But if I don't have a good game, or if I don't play very well, then it's very, very big part in how I kind of hold myself.
And then my grandparents obviously have been a big part of my lives. I was fortunate to have my great-grandparents, 3 of them in my life for about 20 years. And so, and they were just...
I think self-esteem is a big part of my life because there's been a lot of struggles I've went through, and I've always kind of thought down on myself for some of those things. thinking that they're my fault or something?
Sports for me. Well, I used to be a scrapper. I'm not gonna lie, but like, and then I found rugby and stuff. So I've like drifted away from like the bad paths and stuff. So yeah, like Aiden said, for me too. Like if I have like a good game and I win or something, I'll be happy for the week. But if not, then I'll be all like, whatever, like all pouty and stuff, grumpy. So
Mostly family and teachers. I would like to think, John.
So I was very fortunate to have 3 of my great-grandparents in my life for about 20 years, and I learned a lot of amazing things from them, as well as being enriched by the experience of their company and the teachings that they were able to share with me. And obviously a big part in my self-esteem building over my first 20 years.
To tell the truth, I was sent to boarding school. I lost a lot of my time with the people.
Low self-esteem can impact almost a lot of people, because most of the time people have fears that they're going to be judged on like how weak they are or how slow they are or their weight.
There was a time that I was like really like unfocused and all this stuff back home because of some things. And then my mom would come and talk to me. I mean, you're already like suffering in your life. Do you want to do bad at school as well? That's not gonna help you. So like everything in life, it's like it has a pattern. So like when you're doing bad at one thing, you have a tendency to do bad in another thing because you have like motivation to do better. So I think that happens a lot. Like for example, when you do like bad in a test of something, you don't want to go to that class anymore because you don't feel like inspired to go there.
Probably wouldn't work as hard as they could. They'd probably feel like down. Feel like they couldn't do as good of a job as everyone else when they can.
And it can impact a community as well, because it's like a disease. If one has low self-esteem, then everyone else will get it as well.
I think meaningful lifelong learning is based on relationships of trust, and I think that trust was broken as a result of the residential schools. And so you see a lot of parents and grandparents with a lot of distrust for the schooling system in general. And so there's a reluctance there to send their kids to school and send their grandkids to school or to partake in their education because of that broken trust.
When I came out of school, I ran away from school at 15, boarding school. And I lived in Washington for quite a while before I came home.
Low self-esteem can affect someone in multiple different ways. You could just be too focused on what is causing your low self-esteem to be involved with things that are going on around you. For example, school, work, just keeping yourself in good shape.
It affects a lot of people. Even if one person is affected with low self-esteem, it can affect a lot of people, I feel.
Low self-esteem could affect a lot of things, especially courage, I guess. Because when you get kicked down and you feel sad, depressed, especially when you have anxiety, you feel like you can't do it again and you don't want to do it again because you're afraid you're going to fail again. But it's okay to fail because you can't succeed without failing a few times.
I have like a lot of friends that like put themselves down and stuff because like in like games, for example, like, oh, I didn't catch the ball, or like I could have scored, or like they dropped the ball or something. Just like, don't worry about it. Just like, I don't know, just like I usually tell them, just don't let it happen again, and just make something better. Like do something like that will help and like change the game, instead of just like think of it and then you keep doing it. So yeah.
When I was about now 21 when I came home, and I've lost a lot of things about Saanich and Songhees.
I know personally a lot of parents who still to this day are afraid to come into schools for meetings and for their kids because of their negative experience or because of their parents' negative experiences, and that legacy is still very much with us. I think it's integral. It's key to mend those relationships. And I think it's the responsibility of educators to reach out to the community and say, hey, look, we're here. We want to do things differently. And I think it's also the responsibility of the government to continue to work to make those relationships whole again before we can see those meaningful learning experiences begin to happen. For me, when I was going through high school, I made a transition from a small private school from about 300 people, from K to 12, to a high school with about 1,300 people, just from 10 to 12. And so it was a really big transition for me to make, being, kind of this, I guess, big fish in a small pond to this, small fish in a big pond, I guess you could say.
For me, definitely from 9 to 12. Coming into high school was a big step, and is a big step for a lot of students, because you don't really know what to expect. You come from a school where work and all that other stuff is kind of like a push off. You don't have to really worry about grades or passing your courses, and then you come into high school and then it's a big step up. You have to worry about classes, courses, what you want to do with like your spare time, like athletic wise, basketball teams, soccer teams, whatever, anything like that.
When I went to school, a lot of the structure was rote learning, so recall a fact. It was more of a lecture style for teachers. And so now teachers are more of a facilitator. They're helping ones to be more interactive, working in a variety of different ways, again, to match their learning style. So if we can incorporate inquiry projects, as much as possible, we try and incorporate student interest.
Grade 9, because you're like the smallest of the school and everybody's so, like, I would say, older and like more confident, so you're just a kid going to high school, and yeah, like the first week of high school is really hard.
But I think one of the key things to my success, the key reasons for my success in making that transition, was having a really amazing First Nations support teacher at the school I was at, and that was a new thing coming into high schools, was having Aboriginal support teachers for Aboriginal students. Also, we had access to a First Nations room. It was one of the first years that it was available, and it was another, I think, key reason for our success.
Grade 9, because once you're coming out of middle school, you had this big fear because you're new to high school and there's like a lot of different people who are higher grade.
I'd say around high school is when my self-esteem started affecting the most.
Before going to high school, we had no electives available to us, so basically we just were taught the core courses, and hymns and things were kind of one of those. So making that transition and being able to take things like law, First Nation Studies, BC First Nation Studies 12, that was one of the first years that they had offered it, and that was a really amazing program to be a part of. And one of the key differences from when I was in it to now is that there was no provincial exam at the end of it. And so the teacher didn't have to teach to a specific curriculum. They had a lot more kind of artistic license over the course.
For me, it was grade 12 because back home, grade 9, you're not the smallest, you're actually the oldest one in the school. High school is different, yeah. So for me, it was grade 12 because I was coming here and I had to do all of the tests at school and still do well at that and be prepared to like leave for the first time in my life and be away from my parents and my friends. And I wasn't sure I was ready for that. So I was always like trying to be focused and happy, but like I was so sad at the same time.
Probably in the high school times more of it, because you get kind of affected with or not affected, but kind of influenced with your self-esteem more when you're older, I feel. So probably through that, like the high school years.
Yeah, I'd agree with Aiden, because like when you like after middle school you get like all like all scared and like nervous and stuff to like go to high school, like you don't know what you're gonna be or something like that.
You don't really have to do much in middle school because you're going to pass, but once you get to high school you have to do these exams and stuff, and you have to try your hardest at these, because if you don't you're going to fail, and that's when your self-esteem kicks in and you're going to want to try your best to pass because you want to get a better job and a better life.
And I was really fortunate to have an amazing teacher who brought in a lot of guest speakers, a lot of elders, artists, community members, knowledge keepers, and he was very passionate about social justice and about just the atmosphere, the environment for Aboriginal students in the school. He actually helped to have the name of our school teams change from the Belmont Bulldogs or Braves to the Belmont Bulldogs, because he thought that was discriminatory. So I really admired his tenacity. I would say try and find meaning in your education. That was something that I searched for a long time, and when I found it, that was when it really started to click for me.
Don't give up. Don't let your grades dictate how you feel about yourself. Definitely figure out the way that you learn, because it's almost like a key. It's a light bulb for ones when they figure out that they can be successful.
After, like I said, 21, when I was younger than that, like I was kind of wild and, didn't care about life. But when I turned 21, I found a lot of, really good help I had to accept everything that was told to me in order to really enjoy life.
I think, I can speak for a number of people here at the school that I say that I think really try and bring that meaning into the classroom. For me, I didn't always have that, and so I didn't always buy into education, in high school especially. I just did enough to get by, even though I was capable of doing a lot better, and a lot of people told me that.
When they figure out what works for them, and it's exciting to see that, because there's lots of different ways to be successful, and it's not about the grades, but it's learning how to learn and persevering.
What they always told me that, after you leave school, it's another schooling, how to be a married person, how to be a parent, how to be a grandparent. it's all schooling. And today I'm still learning about life.
I feel it's important to have positive role models in the community so that ones can see they can do it. And it's just a matter of figuring out what works best for them.
I seen the old people from Saanich, Duncan, Esquimalt, Songhees. They were all that way. They weren't afraid to tell you how to be, to correct you in your life and help you along to get away from doing wrong things. And that's what I know about the old people.
You know, in high school especially, I just did enough to get by, even though I was capable of doing a lot better, and a lot of people told me that. But classes I didn't care about or teachers I didn't care for, I just, did the bare minimum. 50% was just okay with me.
Whereas today, a lot of the older ones that I see are afraid to really correct young people, to hurt them, to want to hurt them. But that's the way the old people were. They used to say, if it hurts you when they talk to you, it's the truth. The truth that comes out, what we have to learn, have to do in life, That's what I learned about the old people.
So finding meaning in what you're doing is a really important part of your educational journey and in life in general. I would say take every opportunity at this stage in your life to capitalize on those opportunities, to find the meaning in your classes, and to make healthy choices.
This is what, I kind of learned about our culture, our Indian language, It brings out a lot of meaning, the Indian language, that we don't, a lot of our Indian words are not in English, not an English word. And it brings out a lot of meaning, strong, powerful meaning to each other, when you talk your language.
I think young people today, and I think young people in general, over the years, don't realize the gravity of their decisions at times, both positive and negative. But if you make the right moves at this stage in the game, you really set yourself up for either failure or success in a big way. So just simple things like getting to class on time, working hard, putting a little bit of yourself into what you do, you have the ability to really take yourself to the next level.
Later on in life, when all my elders, my older brothers and sisters are all gone, I look around, where am I going to get help? Where am I going to have somebody tell me what to do? And I find out that it's all in here. It's all in here.
A minha mãe, meu pai, os meus amigos, a minha melhor amiga. E eles são muito importantes pra mim e eu tô morrendo de saudade deles e eu não vejo a hora de ver eles de novo, porque eu chorei muito no aeroporto. That's it.
Toutes les fois où j'ai voulu arrêter l'aviron et le piano, mais tu continues à me supporter et je voulais te remercier pour ça. So, merci papa, merci maman, merci mes amis, merci ma famille et merci l'école.
I want to thank my mom for sure. She's always stood behind me and supported everything I've ever done. My friends, my teammates, my teachers, all the counselors and support that I've ever gotten. I want to thank you.
I'd say my parents, mom and dad, my aunts, my uncles, my family down in San Diego, teachers, through elementary, middle, and high, friends.
Riley, Alex, my mom, my dad, my brothers, a lot of teachers here, a lot of support staff as well.
For me, it's a lot of my parents, like and a lot of family members, and teachers too.
And I just want to give a shout out to the counselors of this school and to all my friends. Oh, and I'd like to give a shout out to all my fans whenever I go on a party. And a big shout out to all my bronies and Pega sisters out there.
Lots of coaches, my family members, teachers here. I'd say Kyle, my friend Gavin, Caitlin, Britt, Phil Mack,
My siblings, my wife, my children, my extended family, and various educators over the years.
I'm Aaron Planario, grade 11, Squamwell High. In my spare time, usually just hang out with friends, or just go on Instagram, follow me, Aaron_Planario14, follow me, and yeah, that's about it.
Aiden Mickelson, 17, Squamwell High School.
Gonna do one more for safety.
What? Everybody else had to do one.
Just
my chest big? Big? Okay, sorry. Tell you, bloopers is about us.
Okay. What he said?
Yeah, what he said.
Awesome.
Yeah, your hair's good. Your hair's good too.
Thanks.
So we forgot to ask you guys a question on the last one. Up just a touch. Okay. Aiden, whenever you're ready, introduce yourself first. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Play rugby.
You collect shells, don't you?
Shells.
And rocks. Okay.
We're gonna be the whole
we
group.
No one else.
It's all us.
Would you like to tell the audience what day it is today?
It is December 15th, I think. No, it's December 15th.
Okay.
Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thursday, December 15th.
Yeah, I leave today after school. Yeah.
Why?
I got a tour.
Tell them about it.
No, I got a tour. I got a tour through the States for Rugby Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're playing Utah, a Fijian team, and a Colombia team in the States.
Casual.
Yeah. Let the audience know it's pajama day, or
It's pajama day.
No, this is just us.
School has taught me about School has taught. Excuse me.
Oh, you want to shout out Instagram?
Follow me on Instagram, Aaron_Planario14.
Go show me your Instagram. Get your Instagram.
Where's my phone at? I got this. This is gonna be bloopers.
Yeah, this better be bloopers. Go show me Instagram.
You guys, this is like a shout out.
My shout out
This
list.
is your shout out, so you can.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm so proud of you. You're so smart.
Okay.
Give it a second pose.
Oh, I got a Snapchat.
He got a Snapchat.
Follow me on Snapchat too. Aaron Planario.
Okay.
Yeah, follow him on Snapchat too. What a guy.
Famous one day.
Just a walking blooper reel. That's all we are.
You know, this is how
Would
money.
Jeremy Hooper please report to the office for a message? Jeremy Hooper to the office, please.